my name is Vyshak, and I was actually, while I was preparing for this particular session, the thought that struck me was, okay, let's talk about trends, data, research, finding, AI is the next thing, AI gives us this, AI gives us that, so on and so forth. But then I realized as leaders in this particular room, what is more important and more practical is to actually understand how is AI creating many tipping points, because AI is a tectonic shift which is changing the industries as we know it, the practices as we know it, and the playbooks as we know it. So let's talk about 3 important tipping points and how, as leaders, we can navigate this seismic shift that we are seeing in the industry of enterprises. First and foremost is about exponential speed. It took us 2 decades, close to 2 decades, to move from on-premise to cloud to SaaS and so on and so forth. And just 2 years to move to agentic AI. What does this mean? Yes, we have the stats of only 95% of the pilots actually fail, only 5% actually proceed. But the top of the funnel, the number which is getting poured at the top of the funnel is so far high that 5% success itself is creating tremendous shifts in the industry. And being a technology innovation-focused company in this area, that is Adobe, this is clearly giving us the headline that this is transforming customer experiences and enterprise productivity for sure. So 3 tipping points that we are actually seeing which will change our lives forever. Number 1 is the customer experience orchestration. We already had the problem of customer expectations being high even before AI, and with AI, it's only that is also increasing exponentially. Let me try and reason to that with facts. Number 2 is content supply chain, something that we never knew we needed in enterprises per se. And third is obviously productivity. How can we amplify the meaningful and automate the mundane behind the scene? Let's dig deeper into customer experience orchestration. So this is actually from our Customer Digital Experience Index survey, wherein which 200 leaders from India also have actually participated, along with consumers. We asked consumers that, we asked the leaders that, do you think your brands are delivering superior customer experiences? 80% of them said, yes, we are. We have systems, we have process, we have technology. We are delivering superior customer experiences. The same survey, when we asked the consumers, they said, only 10% of them said the brands that they interact with actually provides them a superior experience per se. This chasm, there's this big gap that we think that we are doing a great job versus our consumers saying, hey, no, not really. No, only very, very few brands actually do that really, really well. That gap is exponentially increasing after AI. That's what I'm actually trying to say here, right? This chasm needs to be crossed, and it is a real opponent. It's a real opponent for the AI promise, because AI can actually is a boon to actually cater to this particular chasm that actually exists. One of the tipping point in customer experience orchestration is the web is changing. www is no longer the www that we learned, we interacted with, and so on and so forth. It is drastically shifting. We run analytics for thousands of organizations across the globe, and we were the first ones to notice this, saying that, all right, now users prefer to start, close to 1/3 of them start their conversation not directly with a brand, but with an agent, but with an LLM per se. Close to half of them says that AI summaries actually influence their understanding and purchase decisions. So think about this, right? We have all our shops ready. We have our brand set up. Our websites are ready. All of a sudden, overnight, the tipping point is that my front door just got changed without my knowledge. There are an intermediary who is talking about my brand, what do I do, what is my USPs, without they ever coming into my site per se. That is definitely alarming. The good news is, those who are coming after their decisions have been formed by AI and LLMs, they are better converting prospectus. They really know, okay, this is what I want, and this is why I should engage with this particular brand per se. And this expectation and how people are forming their opinion is changing. It's a tectonic shift, and it creates a tipping point. You need to be at the right end when this tipping point really actually happens. And what is that change? The change is we build for humans all this while our digital experiences, websites, apps, and all of that stuff. Now we need to build for the second audience. Remember, the front door just changed. There's another door, which is actually for the agents. So I need to now build for both humans as well as agent. The future of web is agentic in nature. Websites will always be there for sure, but the agentic web is going to transform how our brand is perceived by consumers. Now, the problem that we need to actually be aware of is three things. One is, there are chances that, if your content is not structured and AI readable, your brands can get misrepresented, right? When I was an engineer, I can't imagine living my day without Stack Overflow. And I hope you know what happened to Stack Overflow in the recent months. Similarly, we have other experiences like Tailwind CSS and so on and so forth. The drift and the shift and the tipping point is visible, and it is scary if you are not ready for it, right? So, and you are losing revenue moments because the opinions are being formed by the consumers on different LLMs, and what they need is guided and trusted conversations when they land up in your app and websites and so on and so forth. They are ready to actually be guided, and the experiences to be intent-driven per se. So, what does this agentic web tipping point gives us as a checklist as leaders? Number one, are we building for both humans and agents? We need to actually build both for them. It's not the end of SEO, no. It is about SEO and GEO, which is generative engine optimization. If you don't do this, chances are that your brand is not going to get well represented in the agentic web era. Second one in the checklist is guidance to decisions. Rather than publishing thousands of pages and brochures and whatnot and informations and guides and buying flows and whatnot, unless you actually act as a guided interface of experiences, your websites will need to transform so that people can make the decisions. Already a lot of decisions have been already made, so give them basis their intent. Somebody is frantically coming to the website after knowing that here is the form I need to fill to cancel my credit card or create a dispute or whatever that is. Understand that intent in the last millisecond and guide that interaction for that particular customer. Now, second is content supply chain. Content is undoubtedly still is the queen. And content is much more than marketing materials and images and video. No, it's much more than that. Your email subject line is also a content, right? So content clearly is actually queen, and personalized experiences is what AI enables. Everybody gets what exactly they want, not just hi Vyshak, which is just putting your name there. The first tank that will run dry of enterprises would be of your content. We all, our enterprises, are fighting against scientifically proven dopamine giving experiences, and we are nowhere near the capacity of producing that particular content, and that will leave you out. And there's a big difference in content. It's a completely different thing to actually create cute cat videos using AI, which is 30 seconds and all of that stuff, versus trusted, authentic, rooted in my brand guidelines and brand values. That enterprise content creation is absolutely different than cute cat videos and monkeys and whatever, right? All the generative AI, good content as well as slop that's actually out there, right? So it's really, really important, right? So what brands typically miss is the need for content has grown exponentially, and they are getting stale sooner than they were just 6 months back. The prediction is we need 100 times more content, more refreshes, and if you're a company which just have 8 products, it multiplies into over 500,000 assets when you actually compare and contrast against the channels, the languages, the varieties, the refreshes that we need to do, and so on and so forth. The reality is a lot of enterprises haven't thought about this. It's still, here is the brief, make the content, I will approve, and let's go. That supply chain wouldn't suffice for the AI world for sure. So what's the leader's checklist under content supply chain? No doubt that AI will help you here. It will dramatically scale your content production initiatives, but it has to be human-led, and human needs to be in the loop so that the content authenticity is actually maintained. So what are the leader checklists? Number 1, do I have a content supply chain? First question. If yes, are they both AI accelerated, but at the same time human-led? Because how much ever AI produces, it is important that you actually add the human touch, the human in the loop, to make sure that they represent your brand really, really well for sure, right? The second checklist is, what is my roadmap to 100x content? The demand is 100x. I'm not going to get there in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, probably a year, but it's a journey from 0 to 100. So I need to start somewhere. So what is my roadmap to create 100x content which is efficient, which is cost effective, and which is compelling, and it's also converting so that my business metrics are actually moving with the content. It's not just about producing tons of content which it's actually not converting, but it needs to actually convert so that I can deliver, manage, and amplify the content that's actually out there. So that's the second tipping point, content supply chain. The third one is interesting, productivity. Of course, again, there are enough and more stats which talks about, yes, AI will multiply productivity, 90% of the code will be written by AI. Yes, all of that is true, of course. Yes, the roles are evolving, and it's actually changing how productivity is actually being seen. But our take on this is, obviously, AMAM, as I said before, which is automate the mundane and amplify the meaningful. The problem with productivity is that we are not still ready to actually embrace what AI will actually produce as insights and actions per se, right? Your models, your workflows, your organizational and enterprise workflows will always beat any model any day. The model saturations, we are actually reaching that particular model saturations, but it is your IP, your intellectual property as organization and enterprises, is your workflows that you have built over the years, and it is important to actually have agents working to solve meaningful problem, then only the productivity will really increase. And it also not just improving productivity of one function. There is no point in improving productivity of sales or marketing or development. No, it is about improving collaboration productivity as well if you want to see real impact out there for sure, right? And this is something that we are seeing within Adobe itself. We are a technology innovation focused companies, and the moment we shifted to how do we improve productivity with collaboration, that actually changed the game. Now, another important thing about productivity is what you feed the AI with, which is actually data. I mean, I've spoken this decades ago that data silos exist. That is what the biggest problem enterprises have. Your data does not talk to each other. They don't connect. They are not connected. Your decisions are actually in silos, and so on and so forth. Decades have passed. I mean, the bus hasn't moved. The bus is still the same problem, data silos. And that is what you're feeding the AI with per se, right? So leaders' checklist for sure is that in order to improve your productivity, insights is what AI will give. There will be a fire hose of insights that is going to pump at you. Are we ready? First one is, will my data silos ever be solved? The mistake that enterprises make is we tend to solve the structured data problem and structured data silos. Why? Because it's easy. That's a database. Here is the Snowflake. Here is the S3 bucket. It is all structured data, very, very easy. But the real data, probably a lot of them is actually in unstructured format. It's probably in a PDF, it's in a report, it's in somewhere else, and so on and so forth. So it's important to look at that. Am I solving the data silos between structured as well as unstructured, right? And what is my insights to action pipeline for sure, right? Now, we have been at work for over a decade with AI, and of course, there are enough and more proof points, such as we are the founding members of content authenticity initiatives decades ago, even before LLM was a thing, because we knew the risk of misinformation and deepfakes and whatnot. And we innovate across these three categories: customer experience orchestration, content supply chain, and productivity. And the fun fact is, most of our AI algorithms and workflows and agents are actually built across in our Noida as well as Bangalore campuses, which is, definitely a proud thing for us to say in Adobe India for sure, right? Very quick examples: the world's largest brand, Coca-Cola. We actually worked with them, we collaborated with them. This is the real example of scale. You can see that 200, 200, and 200 million profiles. We help them create not just content, but workflows and offers, which is actually targeted to the audience per se, right? And they saw 25% improvement right at the conversion stage that's actually in there, and we help improve their brand visibility across LLMs, ChatGPT, Google, Gemini, you name it, by 40%. Their brand is more visible to agents now. Now they are building for both agents as well as humans per se, right? Another example close to home is TCS published case study on productivity. 70 sessions, just like these summits, 70 sessions, hundreds of speakers, 7 hours, the entire 30 seconds videos, the summary, everything is produced by just 2 people, right, in 7 hours, right? So that's the productivity that we actually see. So it is important to assess where we all are, right? So Adobe has a framework for digital AI maturity assessment so that we can help you understand where do you really stand. It's a no obligation workshop to actually understand where are you on this particular tipping point? What's the score? How do you benchmark against your competition? And what are the low-hanging fruits that we can actually take it to action? So that's if you are interested, it's just a simple form of name and email address. And then if you are interested to understand your organizational maturity, we would be more than happy to help you. I would like to close by saying that remember I talked about the exponential shift, right? And this is the old adage which says, great change comes very slowly and then all at once, all of a sudden, right? So as I close, I would say, let's all major. AI will continue to actually innovate and impact will improve. Let's all major being humans. Let's not forget that, because that is going to be the tipping point when it comes to competition, when it comes to representing our brands and so on and so forth. So excited about the future. Really, really thank you for having me here, and have a great AI Innovation Summit.